about it. I'd take a look.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I can't disagree with what Casey said, that if this thing was real, that if you waved your hand and a chicken appeared, and there was, he said no explanation other than that, then there would be an it to talk about. In the end, it's just kind of like when people get into arguments about whether Kirk or Picard was a better captain, that you're having hypothetical discussions about something that isn't real.
Right. We can't test it. We just can't be tested.
So nobody is going to win this argument.
That's true.
Well, do you know who Jim Rose is? Jim Rose, the guy.
I know the name. Oh, yes, actually, now that you mention it, okay. Yeah, it's coming back to me. He's got that, like a traveling road show or something?
So he was very famous in the early 90s with opening for bands like Nine Inch Nails and stuff, which is why I know of him, and then I saw him here. He did this great interview with Michio Kaku, who's a physicist who does a radio show, and he has I don't remember, Snake Oil was the name of his book, I think, and he has this great story where there was a illusionist that goes in and basically went in and did a study about belief, and he went in and they're at a university and they took 4 or 5 professors, and then he did some kind of illusion, and even this illusionist was able to fool these professors into thinking that something that didn't actually happen happened. And it was not because there was actually something crazy going on here. It's that even the people whose minds are the sharpest honed to be skeptical can be that weird brain failure can be tricked when something happens, when some weird little illusion happens. And these physicists were actually like, wait a minute, we need to study this, not actually realizing that someone was brought in here specifically to fool them, to fool their fancy, schmancy, educated brains. I
think that's why a lot of these prominent skeptics, whether it's Penn and Teller, James Randi, or Harry Houdini, who is kind of like, I like to think of him as the golden age James Randi. That his arch nemesis, instead of being Uri Geller, was Arthur Conan Doyle.
Right.
But I think the reason that they're skeptical is their first thought is not, oh my God, this guy you can shoot fire out of his hands. I mean, their first thought is, I wonder how he did that. I'd like to do that. And I think that's the sort of mentality they have.
Right.
Well, I mean, this is why on my YouTube channel I constantly advocate empirical testing.
You can pick that channel address if you want to.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll let you go ahead and call out the URL if you want to.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you just go to YouTube and type "Bionic Dance," all one word, into the search bar, you'll find me. I've got almost 200 videos. I'm about to make my 200th later today. So.
Awesome. Oh, congratulations.
Perfect. Well, thank you for calling, Kate, and I appreciate the topic. Glad for the shout out. But we need to move quite along because I don't think Mike's even got to his topic yet.
No,
absolutely. And I love your show, and let's hope we get some theist callers, right?
I hope so.
Yes. Thanks so much, Kate.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
So, want to do some emails real quick?
let's do 1 or 2, and then I just don't want to get bogged down. So.
Oh, well, this one is a really important email.
You should.
I mean, this is the most important email.
We've never got an email more important.
I mean, this top's getting an email from the president himself. We have an email from Yahweh.
Of course.
Who actually has his email in Lord.Yahweh777.
Right.
So.
And I was saying earlier, if he actually was the creator of the universe, why wasn't he able to get to this?
Just Lord Yahweh.
Yeah, just Yahweh at.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You think there would have been a Yahweh.com? He would have had his own.
He would have registered it in 1996 instead.
Yeah, seriously, he would have foreseen this and just. Who knows?
Go ahead.
But, maybe it's the same problem that he can't, you still have to mark the doors. I mean, he's not perfect. You throw an iron chariot at him and you defeat him. It's like his kryptonite.
Yeah, it is.
So anyways, this is the email from Yahweh. Dear atheists, as the main deity of the Judo Christian faith, Judo-Christian.
Judo.
That's I believe a more defensive style of Christianity involving more blocks and throws. I decided to roll with the times and make my presence known. And by the way, my is also capitalized, known on the internet. Because clearly there isn't enough religion on the internet.
Sure.
I made a channel on YouTube, but seemed to mainly get atheists to watch me. My question, therefore, is what proof would you need to accept me, also capitalized, into your hearts, and therefore, and why Christians fail to subscribe? One, I think, probably because you're not real, both as an idea and as a being, Mr. Poe. But I would say that
little Poe here.
Yeah, that's Big Poe.
No, and he signs it God on the end.
He signs it
G-O-D.
G-O-D.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that Judo-Christianity, since he's an inerrant being, is probably intentional because Yahweh sometimes likes to cut vowels out of things. But I would say, what proof would you take? I would say you'd have to manifest in some way. Give me something to look at and study. Don't just simply try to argue yourself into existence and define yourself into existence with weird little choose-your-own-adventure games.
Yeah, I actually challenge God, if he is really a judo master, he should do a hip throw right now, just right now, right on my back. Come on, come on!
With a special effects budget, you can get more than a hip throw. I think you can get a Hadouken out of
Yes.
it. I think something really major.
Obviously,
Probably one of those crazy Street Fighter Tour multiple hits.
Sure, yeah, it's got a
things.
13 hit combo or
13
something.
hit combo. I don't get
777 hit combo.
I think you don't need to be a martial artist to hit somebody 13 times in a row and win. I bet you that if somebody didn't fight back 13 times in a row, I think I would have won that fight.
Yeah. Well, what else do we got here? Oh, this one is actually interesting. So the first time I was on the show, I made this call out to Matt Dillahunty, who is his atheist, heretic, apostate, decadency. I don't know what his name.
Yeah, he's the host.
I don't know his title, but we should give you a better title than that. A guy named Charlie said that he likes
the challenges real quick.
Oh, the challenge again. Basically, I wanted to challenge the Atheist Experience, who was certainly they were on before us, but we want to settle once and for all which show is the better show. And so we've called out Matt Dillahunty to have a one-on-one Street Fighter 2 HD Turbo remix.
That's a great segue.
It's awesome over Xbox Live, and we've sort of coordinated. We're gonna have actually a live streaming event going on here, which will be sometime in the near future.
I know that I talked to Matt through Facebook a bit, and actually his initial reaction to this challenge was, "Oh, this is gonna be trouble," because he did nothing but play Street Fighter 2 while he was serving in the Gulf.
Right, where he's birthed in Kuwait or whatever.
So it was just it was going to be painful for Casey. That's before he mentioned Casey was a world champion. Then Matt mentioned that he'd actually downloaded it and hadn't played in a really long time.
Right.
And then he also didn't like the way the controller felt. And actually, this guy has a really good, I think a good suggestion to sort of offset this.
Yeah, he wrote in about the spirituality, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. But his first was, he said, "I find it unfair to challenge Matt to a game that one of you happens to be very good at." Well, to be fair, he did say he was really good at it. Yeah. I suggest then that you play the requested SF game, a game of Matt's choice and a choice from the fans. You could do a poll on your page to increase traffic, yada, yada, yada. So we do know that Matt is awesome at Guitar Hero, and I stink at Guitar Hero. So we might be able to do both. We might be able to have maybe me do some like licks on like a David Bowie song and see who can. I'm sure he'll.
Maybe hot cross buns.
I'm sure he'll kick my ass, but we wanted to open it up, and of course you elevated the challenge by having a Pat Robertson audiobook as the prize.
Well, it's not an audiobook. When he ran for president in 1988 on, I believe, the Nutball party ticket, he actually released something. It was called, an audio cassette tape that I had gotten off of YouTube called "What I Shall Do as President" by Pat Robertson. And sadly, I don't know if you know this, but Pat Robertson actually won the Republican primary in Washington State.
Really?
In 1988.
He was much less of a crazy asshat back then than he is
Oh, no,
now,
just as much. He was just seen as less of a crazy asshat back then. He actually had political influence at one point. Now he's just a clown that rolls out with crazy stuff every so often.
Now he's a clown who bench presses 2,000 pounds.
Yeah, he's about as strong as Spider-Man.
I was going to say, I don't want to tangle with Pat Robertson if he really can bench press a car.
He can. So
prove it, Pat. Prove it.
But as to the challenge, I'm all for this. I'd say maybe a game of Street Fighter 2, then Guitar Hero or Rock Band. I know that he's really big on those. And maybe leave it up to the viewers. What game would you like to see Casey take on Matt with? Yeah,
www.askanatheist.tv. You guys can give us your suggestions and what have you.
I think it's a good idea. I'd like to see what you guys would do.
Yeah, I don't know. It would probably be something that I wasn't terribly good at, but, you know.
I don't know, you good at Super Mario Kart? That's always been the one I'm good at.
Yeah, and then also, I guess we just had the phone number up there again. If anyone wants to call back in, we're still accepting phone calls.
Yeah, give us a call, 206-421-5658.
I'm going to let you do it because you've memorized it.
I've memorized the number because I'm a professional.
Maybe we should go on to the next, what do you got?
You have another email, the marriage one.
Let's see. Do we want to do the marriage one?
Yeah, do the marriage one, because you're actually married.
This is one that I'm actually, inexplicably, I'm actually married. Her atheists get married? Who knew?
Shocking.
So Christian Ruano, and he's from Guatemala, apparently, so we do have a pretty international audience, very international audience. And his email goes, "Since I became an atheist, and all of my preconceived ideas about much things changed, I was wondering, when the time came that I got married arrived, what